Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Inna Allah yuhibbu alladhina yukatiluna fi sabilihi saffan ka'annahum bunyanun marsusun. Allah loves those who fight in His cause or in His way like they are solid cemented structure, like each brick supporting the foundation of the building, each arm swinging in the way of Allah as a protection against the onslaught of the enemies of Islam. So today's talk is one more mountain to climb. Well, technically, if it was full, it would be one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. This, of course, comes from the old Negro stuff. But if you're a Negro, you might as well admit it. I mean, after all, a lot of people see when we were younger, most people was ashamed of that old stuff. Because when you're young, you're full of fire and you just want to go beat up everybody and stuff like that. But one thing about it, the older you get, the more you realize how strong our people was and basically how good they were. I mean, when you look at the way people are now, the people are nasty, nasty. Now, I just tell you the truth. The people nowadays, that's the only thing I can think of, is they're nasty. Their leaders are nasty. Their idols are nasty. They just. That's the best thing I can talk about it. Not nasty like najis, but it's nasty behavior, nasty attitudes. You know, it's unbelievable. In this discussion, one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. This was from the October 2002 when we had our last national seminar. And that national seminar was to be the springboard for where we were headed at that time. At that time, we were well organized. We had, I would say, 8 functional centers in the U.S. Each one of them was packed with people. And so, like it was packed here, I would say we had, amongst African Americans, we definitely had the biggest Eid here in those days, right here. And it was a well-known Eid that people liked to come, and their main thing is they wanted to come get some Negro eggs. Right? And that's the way it was. Everybody everything was good, but they wanted to, make sure they got some Negro eggs. Now, a lot of the foreigners that used to come, because the Iranians would come, African Americans, everybody. So it was some, I don't call it healthy eating people, but I told them all, I say, if you come over to our joint, you're going to get loaded down with butter. It's going to be pounds of butter. And I could see some, especially some of the ladies that are immigrants trying to eat like boss man, that healthy stuff. I said, no, one day I said, we have waffles over there and everybody just going to not only with syrup, but I mean butter. I said, and you can't get away from it because it's in the food that I already cooked and they're going to put more on it. That's the way it is. So just decide that one day you're going to overload on all of that stuff that make food taste good, like butter, and a lot of the sauce we have some not only vegetable fats in it, but a little bit of something left over from something, and we cook it all in there, and it makes the gravy just delicious. Well, I don't eat it, but everybody pretend like it's really pretty good. They be making like it's good. So, like if we have turkey, uh, we'll ground up some of the turkey skin and some of the little blackish meat. In other words, you might not really, you can definitely taste it, but you could see that it have a certain consistency. And so all the juice from the turkey, we put it in the blender, you know what I mean, and blend it up. So when you put, and even the other stuff like it just has. So anyway, that's the way we do with all our food. In other words, it has, you just have to get your exercise in, and have a day of fast one day after you eat. But anything you eat here is going to have stuff in it that makes the food taste good. You can tell when this is all right. And one of the greatest transmitters of taste is fat, like milk fat, butter, all that stuff. That makes food. You know what you're eating. Anyway, so one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross was a theme that we had. That this was from October 2002. Let's say 20 years ago, or 20 years ago. And we talked about some of the books that we had read that were visionary, Lost Horizons. It talks about a place called ShangriLa. This is a mythical place, Everything is all right there. People live a long time. People, in fact, one of my favorite old movies, I watch it every now and then, is Lost Horizon, 1937, Ronald Coleman, that guy that had everything. He was going to be in the British Foreign Service, the next guy to going to be, and he was a down-to-earth guy, but he had wrote some books. He had some ideas, visionary ideas. So the people at Shangri-La got hold to some of his books, because at Shangri-La they got all the books. Like now it would be all the books, all the CDs on civilization. And they were sure of one thing there, that this world at that time, that's 1937, is going to collapse, which it did 2-3 years later. Boy, look at here. It was on a roll downhill. But they said man is going to collapse in an orgy of whatever it was. And when that time passed, then there should be a new dispensation. So they had collected all the writings and historical stuff and took them way back in the Mount Tibet, somewhere like that, where you couldn't hardly get in there. And then when you got in there, although it was way up in the mountains, it was nice, the weather was nice and all kind of stuff. But that's, when they talk about Shangri-La, they're talking about those types of places. And this is something that's always been a part of the human being. And back in Greek times and in African times before that, utopia, it just means good place. It don't mean everything is perfect there, but it's a good place. Let's say it's 80% good, 10%, and a few percentage not so. But generally, it's all right. So, what was this place? This place was the Wizard of Oz, where the little girl clicked the toes and what somewhere. Judy Garland. They had other stuff that didn't make any difference to the old Tin Man needed oil on his arm, and the lion was scaredified. And and the man behind this, it was behind the thing. He had a big microphone. He was playing like the great oogly boogly, Bwana and Cuba, they'd call him over the way. Big Bwana. In Cuba, Kabir, Bwana in Cuba. Swahili is 50% Arabic, 50-50. So Bwana in Cuba. By the way, Bwana in Cuba means a big personality or almost God, yeah. Bwana in Cuba, big Bwana. And they call everybody, oh, Bwana this, Bwana that, that's me and you. But Bwana in Cuba, that's big deal. The Wizard of Oz, the guy back there pretending, speaking in that time, a big microphone, everybody do this, everybody. And so we live in a world, now those are like somewhere over the rainbow has something in it, a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. These are bedtime stories that you tell little children that haven't experienced much. Their mind can dream. Well, one of the best things in the world is they call the kids, Latinos that come over here, they call them dreamers. They call them dreamers because they it's like we don't particularly appreciate it, but they get here like you have to live overseas to understand why they sell everything they got. And why would people in Africa go across the Mediterranean Sea so stuck together that they can't move? If the boat go down, they're desert people and they can't swim. Now, I wouldn't go out on the water if I couldn't swim. I just wouldn't do it. But they don't mind. What's so hopeful over there and what's so depressing where they just left that they'll go across a whole sea, Mediterranean, in the middle, a whole sea, and they don't know like the weather's going to change and start rocking the boat. And if you rock them boats and everybody's full, once it go up and dip like that, it's going to turn over because there's too many people on there. They're going to shift a little and then over they go. And can't swim? This is insanity. But our people do that. Why? Why are they doing that? Something got to be bad back there. And then down in Mexico, everybody used to be running there from Mexico, but now they're going through Mexico, coming up here from all down the way. In Big Deep Throat, they said, follow the money. So everybody knows where's all the money at in the world. It's up here, well, as far as they're concerned. So if you want to keep them down there, just send a few $1 billion every now and then down and make sure they have access to getting it, not the king or the president and his crew. Right? Everybody done thought of that except this system. If you want to keep everybody up here, you're going to spend 10 times as much trying to keep them out. And you're going to try to fix the wage, and you can't fix the wage imbalances with them coming across, and they're going to work for $1 a week or $2. They're going to work more than that. I mean, it's going to be like several dollars. But then you're an illegal alien. So you go out and pick all the beans and the guy for a month, and the guy tell you, well, I ain't got no money. You going to go to the police and tell them the farmer, which the farmer and the police is working hand in hand together. The big farmer in Central Valley in California, you think the sheriff and them not in it together? That's just like the chain gangs down south and the Negro going to jail every other day because the sheriff need workers to pick the big white man's cotton. Because he's going to give the sheriff, okay, we'll give you 50 cents a day for them niggas. So you put 25 cents in the county box, and shoot, you keep another 25 cents yourself. And send all them niggas in there. So the sheriff, the more niggas, the more African Americans he have, right? So what is he going to do? He's going to have a program. It's going to be institutionalized that every vagrant, every guy that's walking slower than 15 miles an hour is going to jail. Why? Shoot, it's a big win. For who? For Boss Man. Should any war be stopped anywhere in the world? The people should stop it because it's their children is dying, right? But the people is paying the government that's got the CIA and all of them on the same team. They're going to make sure it's wars. So what? They can sell weapons to. Which side they going to sell them to? Both sides. They're going to sell them to both sides. That's why I like that talk on Black Power that Dr. Franklin made. He talked about the urban Negroes against the city Negroes, the town Negroes against the country. That's kind of time. It's true. It's the same talk we gave. His talk was back in '69. Ours was before that. But we realized one thing. Never fight another one of your kind to make sure Boss Man get a payoff. Now, the world is going to need proof that works. With the proof of that, we didn't already did it. We didn't already prove you can do it. And they'll be able to understand, is it from fear? No. Is it from this, that, and another? No. We make fun of the people that are so stupid. Well, we don't want to call them stupid. Here's why. Although I just got a thing the other day from one of the crew. Let me see if I can pull it up. But they're not, they missed the boat on brains. They missed the boat on everything. You know, they missed the boat. Now, you have to understand that. So, like, it's like something they said, Esau said, Lord, forgive them. They know not what they do. That's almost the attitude. That's one of the attitudes that you have to incorporate if you're going to do anything serious. You have to. I mean, or you'll just be mad. And if you're mad, you miss the boat. You can't do no good mad. You know, you can't do any good if you allow the system to train you to be evil. To train you to be evil and unconcerned. That's why I said that if you at any gala event or anywhere and then people are just drinking and maybe snorting a little blow, the main thing they talking about is Negroes, them dumb niggas. Yeah, all the people that's supposed to be on our team, maybe we're voting for them and stuff. The thing they talk about most is them dumb, excuse me, letting them dumb po-ass niggas. Them niggas is po and stupid. You know. Why? Because whoever they tried to help tried to take them out. You know, monetarily. They keep forgetting that Boss Man trained him and Boss Man trained the Negroes. The crabs in the barrel syndrome. The Boss Man took our minds from a communal, tribal, everybody's in it together, right? Even in the South, we had that. In D.C., 50 years ago, you didn't lock your doors. I know we didn't lock them in Oakland, didn't even lock our doors. Why? Because we was all black, we was all from the country, and nobody locked their doors. You just didn't. Why would you want to lock your door? That's your neighbor. If you needed some butter or eggs, you ever heard of it? Where'd you get it from? Did you have to I got to run to the store. Now you got to run to the store. No, you go to the store later. Right now, I'm cooking something. Eggs, salt, pepper, anything like that. You go to your neighbor. Clara, you got how many eggs you got in there, girl? Let me go out here. The chickens, they cackling, so you know it's some eggs. I mean, eggs, butter, all of that stuff, milk. You went to your neighbor. Then they hooked you up. And you hooked them up later. Nobody sat there with a thing like, now you get somebody, okay, let me write that down. Right? And then they hand you a bill. Right? They didn't do that. I mean, if you just was going to wear it out and, do 4 or 5 years of borrowing from everybody in the neighborhood, pretty soon the word going to get around. Honey, that child over there can borrow, can't she? And you'll be the talk of the town. That's Miss Borrower. They call you, whatever you do, you know what I mean? They're going to call you that name, and that's going to be your moniker from then on. But anyway, see, if the system destroys your love of humanity and love and disfigures your future, right? Then you will produce an ugly future because you got ugliness in your mind, right? Because everything you see is ugly. I remember when I was in exile, one of the brothers was in exile. He called, put something on that. Anyway, technically there's only 2 still alive. I think Pete is still alive and his wife Charlotte, but all of them are like, they up there. They're like older than I am, most of them. So Pete must be 80-something years old. Because I was young, they was all older. Everybody was older than me, even in the game. They was older than me, and the thing about that age is that it put something it did to them. I looked at them like if they would have been born in a different environment, I use the term in my own mind, they would have been captains of industry. And when I talk to people, that's what I said, them niggas there would have been captains of industry. They wouldn't be pimps and bank robbers. They would have been, because they got the initiative. You know what I mean? They got get up and go. And they get up and go for many years. But just like anything that's elastic, it bounceability, you throw it down once, it bounces right back, whop. After you keep throwing it down, though, pretty soon it loses that. You don't have to reach out no more, and it loses and the more time they go to the penitentiary, the more they're battered down by a system that's designed to break them, which it does. And I used to examine this system. The same system was designed to break the Negro, was designed to help the, some others. Example in sports. If you had especially at colleges, universities, you had a Negro and let's call them other. They might give the one the other if you're anywhere close to even, which you wouldn't be. If you're not super better than him, he's going to get more time than you. And the more you sit on the bench and the more he's active, guess what? He gets better. He just get better and then they improve. And then after he's shot out ahead of you, then they let you in and you've been you fumbling the ball and everything because you don't never get into play, right? Of course, they make a couple of mistakes, like with all them quarterbacks. They start letting them Negroes throw the ball once or twice, and the Negro catching it too. Hey, I got it, bam, bam, and it's all in the public, so they can't say take that nigga out, right? Both of them, the one catching it and the one throwing it. You know what I mean? Because the Negroes they're gonna be synchronized. You don't have to. Years ago, we used to watch the Harlem Clowns. Then later on, the Harlem Globetrotters. Harlem Clowns was the lower class of Harlem Globetrotters, which is just as good. So if you was in a little town somewhere, the Harlem Clowns would come. If you was in a big city, you'd see the Harlem Globetrotters, and they was good. But see, if you don't get time in the game, you're going to lose, that elasticity. You're going to lose all that stuff. And the Negro, after playing together 2 or 3 times, whoosh, they throwing the ball. They don't even be looking. They just know, whoosh, whoosh, here it come. Ball, got it and gone. They don't even be looking. Like when you watch basketball now, look at them niggas. They're not giving no sign, but the nigga is listening. He can hear the man running up over. He don't have to turn and say, there he is, right? This is what white folks is. And they talk about Negroes bad. Or like, he's a natural, da-da-da-da-da. He don't have to plan. What they're saying is this nigga is natural. Now, what was the old tall guy from where you was in Indiana? Bird. Larry Bird. He's a thinker, right? He's strategic. The other niggas that run circles around him, this is a gift that just God gave him the ability to grab the ball and whoosh, whoosh. They're not training. Very seldom, even now, they don't show you the Negroes. They don't show you the white boys. He trains. But the Negro, he's just a natural. They call it a natural athlete, right? It's racist, man. Like the nigga be out there all day, and all the ones I know. Sometimes our brother, what's our brother from? Used to be, huh? He talks about his training routine and stuff all the time. He's going to shoot till he hit the basket, till it goes in 50 times in a row. If he get up to 48 and it go back, he goes back to 1 again. No, remember he's telling us all, and then sometime he talking, he said, man, when I get to going, then it'd be cold in the morning. I'd be so cold, my hands, da 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 da. And the Negro is training, man. And they be out there in the yard all day long shooting the ball. They don't say that. It's a natural athlete, God given. You don't practice all that. All our people, Jesse Owens and them, they're just naturally runners. They just run. They just, they're not out there all the time running and jumping fences and everything, that they see. They ready to do something. When I used to travel across the country, when I used to run marathons, when I looked at the countryside, you see some farms with fences on it, and then you see an animal trail all up a big hill. I used to look at that. I said, man, I was looking for a place to pull over and stop so I could get out and run them hills, Because, that's what if you do that, you don't just, the Negro have natural gifts, but he have to develop them gifts. You just get if you just in elementary school, high school, you want to be on a team, sure, and you run and you win a couple of races, you know. When you get into when you hit high school and college, you have to have a serious training routine. And one of my friends, he was a coach at one of the high schools out there. Plus, he did a little illegal. I ain't gonna mention his name. Anyway, he used to run those trails where we used to run up in the hills in Oakland, and they would start way down wherever they are at their high school, and they gonna come all the way out to this end of and then go back another trail going back to. I said, boy, them boys is running, and they just in high school. They're not running no flat trail around here. They were running in them hills, and they was taking everything. Why? Because they was getting the type of training, you know. But anyway, okay. One more mountain to climb, technically one more river to cross. That's us. That means the job is not finished after you reach a certain point. Even if you thought it was finished, and even if you retire, you notice that people, when they retire, they're dead in about a year, 2 years when they retire. And the government know that, and they tell you, oh, you can get your retirement now, but if you go on and do such and such, you're going to get 87% or something, you know. And the people say, I'll do it, boss. And they do it, and they retire, and 2 weeks they're dead. Because boss man already counted it all up, and they got little things that say this is the life expectancy and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they strategically arrange all their programs like that, including retirement. Okay, one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. Okay, that means that also talk about our vision of a wonderful future, glorious future. To continuously think like that, you cannot allow the people that you're dealing with to set your mind. You can't allow them, we can't allow the system that we're working against to do things in our life. Like right now, if we've said we're going to go to another level, well, that means boss man going to be here all this time, like he's up and around, right now, trying to reshape our thinking. Like we do him, he trying to do the same thing to us. And remember, he has more practice at doing this to Negroes and conditioning their mind to fit into his program, to know how to divert them from their program, to use up all their energy where they become tired because they divert them to move in a direction that they want them to go in, his direction. And they divert us so that we go away from what we are trying to do or should do and go toward what he wants us to go, which is useless. So this one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross should be the barriers that we analyze that are barriers to progress, not him. And we don't allow him or them or whatever it is we're talking about to, like we shape and herd him. He don't shape and herd us. See, like now, he gets some misunderstanding from somewhere, like, oh, I'm going to mislead you by doing such and such a thing. Well, we tell him, no, you ain't going to mislead us, boss man. I'm sorry about that. No, we're not going to do that. You're not going to mislead nobody. You don't run nothing, especially now. See, remember, keep score. You have to keep score of how many times we come to bat and what we do when we come up. That means you have to keep eye on our forecasting. You know what I mean? Our process of development and deliverance of what we're talking about. You got to keep score. And then you got to keep score of him too. See, Boss Man, if he done had 5 big fights recently, he ain't won none of them. In fact, he lost all of them. He lost in Korea, lost in Vietnam, right? Technically, he lost in Iraq. Now, they killed tons of our people, but they still lost. America, the only people gained was the people that have all the money anyway. The American people went over there and died, and they came back here. They're trying to help them a little bit now, but they came back here crazy, right? And the other boss man's people, just the other police shot the other people, and pretty soon they said, wait a minute, we have 22 people, something like that, dying every day. Most of them are out of veterans, right? That's the statistics. So okay. So we all have some relatives as veterans. Well, they're looking out for us now. Well, it's about time. You know, it's about time. How many of your friends, are them still alive running around here? You run over there, you know, now you're in your 40s and could be 50s. What's happening now? How many of them are out there homeless? How many, the homeless people, are vets? How many people in treatment are vets? And the vets went over there to fight for who? I'm sorry to say, it's the same old story. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And now in America it's visible that the rich, can you turn the heat down just a pinch? Yeah. Or off for a minute. We'll need it back in a hot minute after that. So the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And here we are trying to reach out to the people. That means we have to keep a good control of our thinking so that we don't begin to think of the people that we're trying to help as the problem. You know, I remember one of the brothers who was in the Islamic Party was telling when they got some money from Gaddafi and stuff like that, they were doing cabs, you know, a lot of stuff like that. So the leadership came to the conclusion, because the Negro was working against them, and he said, "Man, we got to get out of here." And so what would we want to do? Be a big fish in a small pond, a little fish in a big pond, a big fish in a small. Yeah, in other words, if we go down to South Latin America, we can be big fish in a small pond. If we stay up here, which that's their mission. See, so all the white man did was they had the thinking down, they had all that down, but they just didn't understand what Boss Man was going to do to them. So Boss Man run them off by harassing them. Well, we didn't have 50 times that much harassment, but we already know that that's what Boss Man do. If he run you off down to the woods somewhere, he don't have to worry about you anymore. So he run you off, divert you, your mission call the Negro to Islam, establish Islamic presence in America, da 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 da. If you leave the mission, then boss man and won. So the old, I'm not gonna call or make fun of boss man, but he have lost everything he's done to us. It just don't have no effect at all. Well, no, it's not at all. Yes, it has some little effect, but the longer we go, we have writings like from 10 years ago that talked about this stage that we call it deja vu. We've been here before. This is clear. Da, 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 da. That means 10 years ago, we was coming into where we are now. Yeah, 10 years ago. That's 2012. I was looking at the dates on, that's 2012. This is 2022, something like that, right? So we're on our own clock. If we was on their clock, that means we would be diverted and absorbed and fixing the things that do like that they want. Like if we just had to have cars to go on trips, well, they just pull a thing. I don't know if anybody noticed, but all the cars that we have, we buy, then we sell them. They run like a watch. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. Almost all of them. And everything out there, the truck, the this, that, and other, and the little car that I drive, the little white one, we took it over to the Negro, and it lasted 3 or 4 days. If we'd have got out on the highway, it would have conked out as soon as we got out there. And when we bought it, if we'd have went out on the highway right then, looked like it was set to finish off in 100 or 200 miles. Whatever it was, you get out there, and then you have to do all of that to come back. I didn't have cars. We go out, zzz, thing mess up, we got to come back, and no problem. But now, we're not even allowed that stuff to happen. Why? Because we got our own program. So we get a car, we ready to go, and so they already set it to crack up within a certain amount of miles, and we change our mind and don't grow it. Don't go, so it cracks up here. It ain't nothing. It's nothing at all. But I'm telling you, boss man is in trouble. Okay, now as we improve, you have to keep score. What does a score with boss man look like? God Almighty. Look like he can't do, I think boss man can't do much right anymore. He's striking out every time he come to bet. He strikes out big time. Okay. So next subject we're going to have is on Baya, on allegiance. Not like Baya, standing attention, left face, right face, but a general commitment to what we're doing during this period. A general commitment. Technically, I don't like Baya in these modern times because I don't want people to have to lie, like, one of the brothers, the Arab brothers came here a few years ago. Imam Musa, what do you want us to do with our bayah? I said, bayah, let me see, that was 2007 or 8, wasn't it? Last time I saw you. Yeah, last time I saw you was 2008. I didn't tell him to stick his bayah in his behind and the whole crew. But what the heck is he doing out here? 10 years, that was probably 2000. 10 years after, or more. What are you doing out here 12 years after and asking me about Baya and I haven't talked to you in 12 years? What is that? What's with that? You know, is it they wanted to re redistribute or do something dumb? And I said, no, don't worry about it. No. Whatever you got, you just keep it. So it's not a Baya standing at attention and this, that, and other. It's a general commitment. New articles we'll be writing. Well, we're already kind of outlining those. Complete our mission. Uh, and we have an evolving mission too. So complete our mission this time means that that we develop our institutions and we develop ourselves to where we can do good for humanity, good for our environment. Yeah, because our mission is bigger than just a little colloquial mission. Because if it was 50 or 60 years ago or more, if you rescued the Negro, that would be a great job. It's a great job. You get a medal. You rescue the Negro. But now, what about the climate? What about the water? What about it? They still got acid rain. Right now, that rain come down, it melt graves. Hey man, any rain that'll knock over those gravestones, that's bad. That's serious rain, man. That strips the paint off your car. You see some cars with little white stuff like on the top. That means, but the sun mixing up with that rain in 1 or 2 years and started them spots on it. That means now what is that? Why is the plants looking so ugly with all that water? Because boss man done smoked everything up and the rain coming down through that. So today it's not just to rescue a person or a people, because the thing that's needed now, the world that's needed now is a harmonious world with mizan, with balance, with balance. Okay, so technically, even when you focus on one group of people, you got to help everybody else get straight. Because of those things that are needed now is beyond race. So you have to clean up the climate because your race is not going to survive anyway. Now, they're going to be the first to go because they closer to the airport, they closer to the sewer system. You know what I mean? Like they talk about why more Negroes are dying because of whatever this thing is. Well, the Negroes eating pork chops and, you know what I mean, drinking, along with Euros just doing the same thing. But you can't prove that. So you got to rescue everybody because whatever it is, the Negro going to get it first. It don't make that. I don't care what they got. The only thing he's not going to get first is a job, happiness, and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about it. He ain't going to put that in there. The money, he going to get first all the foolishness, right? Now, white folks eat as much pork as Negroes do. But the Negro, it's a Negro, they say it like it's a black disease. Almost high blood pressure, all the stuff that the Negroes eat too much salt. Well, white folks eat salt too. I watch them. They buy some French fries or something. They just take the salt out and they don't even taste them. And back then, the thing at McDonald's, they shaking salt all on them. The people get them and they just put salt on them. White folks, they don't taste it. It's already salty. Man, you ever see the guys back there shaking all that salt on them? Don't make no difference. It's a habit, right? And all the people had the habits. The difference between a Negro habit and modern white folks' habit it's not a big enough gap for it to make any difference, right? As many of them eat as McDonald's. It ain't no greasy spoon no more. It's Big Macs. They're not eating. How many people eat at a little bitty greasy spoon restaurant? The diet is the same. The modern American diet, everybody eating them big old Macs stacked up like this, Burger Kings and a big old foot long something or other. That's what everybody's eating. It's not the Negro diet anymore. Where's the Negro diet? Where we used to eat molasses and rich people eat molasses now. And butter, we used to squash the butter up and, you eat biscuits and they call it sopping. You took the biscuits and sopped up your molasses. That's all you had for breakfast. Well, I mean, we was different. We had a few extra stuff. But that was the old Negro breakfast. It was just something to get you out and get you going. Right? Now, everybody eats the same thing. I mean, generally. So the diets are so close that, right, it don't make no difference. Okay, so Negroes eat a lot more chicken than other people. That used to be chicken on Sunday, but now everybody's eating chicken and fried chicken. They got church's chicken because everybody used to come home from church. That's what people think. And who would you invite for dinner on Sunday? The preacher. And you had chicken every Sunday. That's the only time Negroes used to eat chicken. Not every day chicken, but now they done puffed them chickens up and they got them chickens rolling down the thing. Hey man, and chicken and eggs is free almost. Anyway, back to the subject. We have to be in charge of ourselves. So we're going to go on a national tour. All the stuff we talked about that we're going to do these months before Eid and everything, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to be diverted. The diversion go down, something not working at the house, something not working over there. That's too bad. It's actually too bad. Because we're not into that right now. If it's like that, fix it yourself. Plus, why should I fix something and I'm downstairs and I can hear bang, bang, bang? And I come upstairs and look and everything in the bathroom is broken on purpose or a leak there. Well, somebody turned it so it would leak. I'm not wasting no time on it. Fix it yourself, right? Okay. What that means is we don't let other people develop our time schedule for us. It's simple, but if we're on a roll, if we're on a certain move, we have to continue with that. So we control our own lives. Okay. This is a note on ham-handed Negroes. I don't want to talk about them much. But ham-handed Negroes are loser Negroes. Loser Negroes. Loser Negroes are like the ones that they've arrayed against us. Example, everybody in California, imagine the Masjid is full, everywhere you go is full, every university you talk on is full, and then all of a sudden everybody's gone. If they want you to run around and chase them, why you leave? Well, they got the wrong idea. Goodbye, everybody. Right? Yeah, goodbye, because just goodbye. you know, because you cannot change. And now I'm talking like this has already happened over a long period of years. You cannot manage us. We're managing you. Okay, it's not 100% one way or the other. But if we manage in boss man, if you have an elevated percentage, if we're controlling him 75% and he got everything, he got all the Negroes, he got money he prints, he got everything. And he can fill your place up and then you look around and it's empty. You can't sit there, oh, the dumb thing. What did I do wrong? Everybody left. No. Boss man and called everybody somewhere else. That's what it is, so that's what you call it. You don't be ashamed to point out, because somebody might think that nigga paranoid. Well, one thing about notes and everything, one thing about absurdity, one thing about repetition and going over redundancy is big, right? Because, for instance, after you let something go redundantly 10 times over, that proves itself, whatever it is, it don't make any difference. It's redundant. And suppose you didn't came here and you got videos now, it don't make no difference how many people are watching it. Has no difference. Because you have in your own possession the ability to edit them and put them out, or just put them out like they are over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. That means when we talk about redundancy, everything we talk about, an air war, that's 20-something years ago. Air war, I was talking that 20 years ago, at least 20 years ago. Yeah, way back when. Air war is a psychological war, right? Air war is you're going to come in and bombing. You're not going to be slopping through the mud and getting tired. You're going to be in a plane. You're just going to bomb boss man to death. Yeah, so you're having an air war, psychological war, right? And no matter what they say, psychologically, boss man is losing it. No, it would be safe to say boss man has lost it. And it's almost unfair for us to pick on an invalid. And we have to defend ourselves because he's stupid enough to keep on. He won't, even he's an invalid, he's just absurd. That's what we call absurd. Him and his helpers, look, it's so ridiculous. Imagine John Hancock John Hancock, signed the biggest on the thing. They call it Mukhtar or something like that. When you look at the Bayer form that we had, it is the biggest signature on there, right? And then, not only they show up on the video, this, that, and the other, because they try to steal videos, but luckily we save enough. And then, one is on, standing there, and here's the police taking me to jail in front of Masjid al-Islam in Oakland. Okay, fine. It's all right. And they think we should be the dummies. They're not dummies. They're not crippled either. Unable to digest the world around them. Unable to function, to form pictures. They're people in that would be like Abdul Jalil was, over there. And Abdul Jalil and Mukhtar were very good friends. And Abdul Jalil used to lie so much. Yeah, when I was boxing, I was just about the champion. I said, shoot, I won my first championship when I was 14. And, I was a middleweight championship when I was 14 years old. He lies to me with no restrictions, so I just lie right back. I don't say, nigga, you lying, man. That's wrong. You can't do that, man. That's a lie. Because he would, I don't know if anybody remembers, but he would really tell him. And not that but him and Mukhtar was the same, except Mukhtar would actually train. Mukhtar would go run. He would do all that stuff. Our person here, hey, man, he just wouldn't move. And the brothers would be, man, you got to get rid of the brother because the physical fitness program. I said, there is no physical fitness. That's what we're saying, man. Ain't no physical fitness program. I said, he comes out and looks at the weights when we're working out. I said, he's come out and looks and, yeah, I'll be right back soon as I go over here. I said, maybe he says that all the time. So what if his tummy is sticking out that far? Who knows, right? I mean, but anyway, the point is that we're headed in the same direction we've been going in all along. Other people, they take as important what boss man say, not history. And they think that if they were to witness something in front of their face over and over again, if boss man didn't say it, they wouldn't recognize it. Like the things that are going on in our present day. The world is falling apart. Everybody agrees on that. It's the climate, it's the weather, it's the traffic, it's the whole planetary system is getting out of whack. That means the animals, the plants, you know what I mean? The weather changes are affecting everything and everybody, right? Okay, so the oceans is rising and all of that. Those are things that you can't stop overnight. Those are things like if you're in a car driving 100 miles an hour, you just can't stop. And if you do stop on a dime, you're going to be through, you're going to snatch them seat belts out and you're going to be in the window. You know what I mean? Stopping that fast, which you can't stop that fast. If you go on certain speeds, you can't swerve and get out of the way. So you have to slow everything down to a crawl. We can't do that because the economy. You can have economy or you can eat for 2-3 more days, or you can ruin the earth. Whatever you want to do. I said people in the woods, in the country, and all original people, they made a prayer before they took something. When they sacrificed anything, they always was thinking some big figure for producing. We thank you for this, And even the animal, we think we got to take your life so we can get full, but we appreciate your gift, So now they just think, they just go in the store and buy a big thing of turkey and that's it, turkey. And they're programmed like that. Okay? And they have no connection. To cut people off from the natural flow of things is really, really bad. What I'm saying is we have a big job. Big job. So we have evolved We have evolved to take care of what we should take care of. And I remember when I was down there in the hospital, I couldn't even talk. You remember I said one word, optimism. I couldn't even talk. I think I could get it out. Ooh, optimism. It's okay. It ain't no big deal. Now think of the type of people that would do that. Suppose I would have been somebody else. Somebody else would have either killed them or had them killed or really turned mean on them. Just, so the police take your money and give it to them. Or the police take this community's money and give it to some other, right? No, it's okay. It's all right. The point is that you don't let nobody design a program for you and you act according to what they want you to do, right? Even if you have to delay, even if you have to divert, when you act in your time. There's the other thing about this optimism or utopian vision of the future. The earth is alive and it's doing what Allah created it to do. It's a self-service institution, self-cleansing, self-everything. It just, and if you cooperate with it, everything in creation cooperates with it. It does what it do. And there's no waste, no abuse, except for the human being. So you have to remember, it's not just us. It's like the people are getting warnings on TV, color-coded warnings every day, right? About the climate, about this, that, and other. And they ain't moving. They want to see something change. They like fresh air. They'd rather have it any time. Oh, this is fresh air. This is different. They like it. But my contention is you and I are going to have to start the ball rolling to show them it's possible. And, of course, it's not showing off, but to show the people, you take the one that's in the baddest shape and you get them in shape and straightened up and ready to go. You say, see, this is what you can do. That's the way. That's our job with our community. We take the one that's need the most help. Although in modern times, it's some areas in West Virginia and other places where white folks is using more dope than Negroes. And when you go through those areas, they look really, man, this is cold-blooded. And then when you think of the institutions, it's never been about just race. Race has always been a tool of the people that run the society. Because the people that come over here, they come out of debtor's prison in Europe. They were Europeans. They indentured, they call them indentured servants, indentured slaves. So the only difference is if a white man came over here to Virginia, he could run off and go down to Carolina somewhere, right? And he didn't have no color on him or blend on him, I just come from Virginia and I'm happy to be here. And let me see what I can do. He could run off with boss man some of his wealth, whatever he can carry. Just the Negro couldn't do it unless he run down to Florida, along to Spain in them days, or run up to Canada. That is a long way on foot, going through the woods. See, a lot of people, we drive places now. Oh, that ain't nowhere. Yeah, get out there on foot in the snow, or it's raining, and then, or it's hot. And you don't know, all you doing is, let me feel the moss on the tree to see what side that's on. Oh, so I'll go that way. That's the only thing you got. You can't tell no stars, nothing, navigate. Right? Boy, I'm telling you, we've been, and now here we are. We don't want just righteousness or goodness for ourselves. We want it for everybody. That is a plus. That's a plus. Look, that means something. And it's not because, well, they wouldn't do that for you. You know, the feds always tell you when they want you to snitch on somebody, they say, they wouldn't do that for you. Well, I'm not them. I don't care what they do. They wouldn't do it for you. I say, I'm not them. You see this here? I'm in this skin. Boss man, I'm in this skin. I don't find nobody else. I looked in the mirror the other day, and you know who I saw? Me. Boss man will tell you they wouldn't do that for you. They always say that. They wouldn't go to prison forever for you. I don't never tell boss man that, but I said, not only that, I said, the Negro will steal everything you got. I don't care whether you buy him 5 cars and a Rolodex watch. It don't have nothing to do with it. The Negro is going to cut your throat. I mean, the modern Negro. So you have to be doing it fi sabilillah, not for what you get for return on this earth. I'm telling you, don't work. You do it fi sabilillah. All I can say is, I was reading the other day, I'm happy with Allah as God, Islam, and religion, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the messenger. Amen. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I like that. This is personal. Okay, we'll try to wrap it up. Longevity, front door power. I'm not going to talk about certain things today. Next Tuesday, our specific subject will be allegiance. Extended stickability, longevity, man, I'm telling you. 95% of ability is stickability. It's still the same rule. The ability to stick and the ability to hold on. This is those boss man all throws him and his Negroes off all the time because they don't have. And now when we talk about longevity, we're not talking about semi-longevity. We're talking about from way back then. Because think how we talk. We talk about stuff that's 10 years ago, almost like it's last week. Oh yeah, that was that was 20 years ago there, right? 20 years is a long time. For everybody else, when you talk about 20 years, they thinking, hey man, I was a pretty little girl. Boy, I was just fly as I wanted to be. Everybody calling my name. That's 20 years ago. Now it's different. You know, for us, 20 years is like, hey, 20 years. That's because of the thought patterns. Because in 20 years, haven't nothing changed at all except it's proved that we know what we're talking about over and over and over again. Redundancy. So when we have to say what we have to say in front of the public, we'll say it. Well, we don't believe that. Well, check it out. If you don't want to check it out, too bad. We don't have to prove nothing to you. That's the other thing. Peer group pressure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That thing is over 50 more years old. No, there's no peer group pressure. We're not bowing down to what we said in 1986, that every child, when they graduate from school, high school, they should get a trip around the world, and they should have to stand on the stage in the assembly for a whole hour with the whole assembly looking at them and talking about them and pointing at them, you know what I mean, and giggling at them, and they just have to stand there and take it. If they get those two things out of the way, they be off and rolling. They get to go around the world and see what's happening in the world, right? And then they get a chance to stand there on that stage for a minimum of an hour in the assembly, and everybody talk about them and pointing and whispering. And then when it's all over, see, niggas can't do nothing to you. They're just talking, right? Just talking. Those are huge lessons. Don't seem like much. But everybody, whoever was living there before, them People magazines still come to the house. So I go on and look at them. I mean, what the heck? And they have people in there. Last couple of things they had, the nice little white lady that they was taking all of her money. She was in the news all the time. She's about 40 years old now. Britney Spears, yeah, she got it. If she didn't have a team, that mean all the white kids out there, white people saying free, they were saying free Britney, right? They shine the light on and it's clear that they got her working in Vegas, turning flips and shit. And well, if she can do all that work and she can't handle the money, you can work her butt off, right? And see, that's what's going to happen with what we're doing, but in a different way. We don't have to know how it's going to happen. But all of a sudden, even that's true now, everything we've been saying is so clear that it's unbelievable. And they're not moving. Hey, man, it's all right with me. So we don't have to prove what we're saying, but we can do it over and over again. Also, anticipation. Everything that's happened now, we anticipated it. We figured this is going to happen. Other thing is, this is the battle space, the main battle space for these decades, for the time we're living in, the things we're dealing with now. The importance is getting traction, and when we will get the traction, so we can do what we need to do, because people are looking at life to make it better, but very few of them have a comprehensive program. There's some nice white folks, they want to fix the planet. They don't want to fix the human being that's on the planet, they just want to fix the planet. You know what I mean? Some are animal lovers, they think there should be animals everywhere, and you shouldn't eat the poor guys. Suppose somebody was raising you to eat you, how would you feel? You know what I mean? Okay. So anyway, I don't know how they're going to get all them people in Texas that's used to eating 1 pound steaks. They said that methane is, the cows is messing up the, well, you have to help the white folks, because they eat, some places they serve a 1 pound steak. I mean, it's enough to last at least a week. I mean, who eat a week is 1 pound. Big old, In the penitentiary, when they would have steak, we would get a 1 pound steak in the penitentiary. That means you had to have a whole herd of cows to feed the people in the penitentiary. And it's okay, okay. Now, that's why our job is so important. We've anticipated most of the things that might happen, and we're formalizing remedies for that. One of the last things I have here, Oakland's a crazy house. Leadership, okay, loud, light clowning. Yeah, I mean, like if it's a gift from Allah, if you like to have fun with people, just clown them. You don't have to kill them, you know. My son was saying, in fact, both of them was saying, Dad, this be going on, that be going on. And I said, suppose you kill a Negro. That's what niggas need. I said, yeah. Well, if you kill a Negro, you killing him just cause he's a Negro. You ain't gonna stop the Negroes from doing what they do. Like one time, I don't know if you remember when my oldest son was out here, we was over on A Street. They stayed in the book room, him and one of his friends. In the game they in, well, yeah, such thing happened, I'm gonna take care. I said, I tell you what, come on out here and I'll give you the game on that. So he thought since I'm an expert on that type of thing, that I'm gonna have him out here and I'm gonna say, this is what you do to say. So I got him out and I kept him and we drove iron every day. Hey man, he ain't never been that. This guy was swole up. He make Sergio Oliva. He was almost looking, he was buff. He was close to 20s. He had 19 and a half. That's serious. And was shaped. We went out every morning and lift iron. And like, I think I was about 55 at that time. So I was getting a little older. Your strongest years on weights is 35, between 35 and 40, technically 37 years old. That's why if you see an old weightlifter in the mid-30s, that's their strongest years. Not in boxing and running and stuff, but in weights. So I was 55 by that time. So whenever we lifted iron together, he started when he was young. So I don't know if you remember that little house that was next door. We had all that iron in there. Look at here. We'd stack them quarters on there. So boom. Like on mine, I think I got up to 7 quarters on each end. That's plenty of iron. 'Cause 6 quarters is 300, not including the bar. So 7 quarters. Okay. So no, that's where he went. I was going on up and I'd get 6 quarters and some change rolling. So he popped 7 quarters on there and was doing reps. So this is when he caught me because at that time he was at just the age where he was at his strongest. And at my age, I'm going into a decline. So I just reminded him that he learned all that from me, and don't be getting out of line because you lift a little more iron than I do. Wasn't no big deal. I mean, it didn't bother me none. But the point is, I just kept him here with me. Why? How is that guy out there behaving? Man, he done got in with so-and-so. I said, well, you get at the end of the line. Somebody gonna finish him off soon. because of what he's doing. It's in Oakland. It's like if he did the same thing in D.C., you're going to mess with everybody. They're going to get rid of you. So somebody called him and said, yeah, man, they just down so-and-so. I said, nah, go on back. So what I did, I called him out here so to keep him out here, because he had hinted how the guy was acting. I said, he ain't going to be that. Do not go get yourself a life without possibility of parole sentence. Just let somebody else do it. They got to. I mean, he's in a game where he's doing certain things. As he ain't nothing. He got to go. You know what I mean? It's just when. It could be in 2 weeks. Could be in 2 days. It could be in 2-3 months. But he got to go. That's the rule. Anyway, let me. So Oakland's a crazy house. Oakland's a crazy house, and it's been a crazy house. The craziest thing they did was think that the stuff that they were doing out there was going to affect us. Like I had a little water bottle that had tar around it. Did I ever, that was like a drain up there. One of our buildings, you stick the thing in there, and then all the water, it ruins the building. So I was collecting all that stuff, and then I brought it here. Also, I had a spark plug. A spark plug goes down and across. This spark plug, I mean, it was bent straight. Anyway, and we got it out of my car. But before I was going on a trip, I said the car running kind of funny. So the guy that I said it to was a friend of the guy that put it in there, but he didn't know he had put it in there for it to run rough. So he unscrewing them all. And I know he put it there because I said, hey, how did this one get like that? I don't know. Okay, fine. And the guy was his best friend, the mechanic. Anyway, stuff like that happened all the time. I'll move toward a close. This is just from a note. This don't mean. So, about the people in Oakland, it says Allah made you. Allah made them. And about some of the people, it says made you stupid, ugly, and ignorant. Now you know who that's talking about. That's talking about a lady, but they talk about me all the time. I just got something the other day. It said something stupid. Excuse me 1 second. The dumbest thing I ever heard. There's old C.L. Franklin there. Black Power. A retired snitch begging for money. Allahu Akbar. They done stole all the money we got. I mean, hundreds of thousands. And they still in Oakland doing the same thing. And they done sold $1 million building. They ain't gone nowhere. That mean that boss man them niggas ain't got 2 cents. Boss man got them on the line. Because if you knock somebody over for a big hit like that, you're going to be gone back to Arkansas or wherever your folks is from, right? He's staying right there in Oakland. So what did this thing said? Yeah, something about a snitch. A retired snitch, that's me, begging for money. We're going to raise tons of money. The only thing about some of the people, they never raised any money. Never. My sons used to say, yeah. I said, did so-and-so go out and raise it? He said, no. He said, it's a tire this week. Tire, he ain't never went out to raise no money. It's whatever you, right? So I put $35, $40, $50,000 in an account, and he spent it all, you know. He never raised no money. He never did. And he's calling me a thief and a snitch. That's really something. And I don't mind. That means I have to be able to take it too. I have to be able to, when you know what the game is, you have to be able to do that with comfort and ease. Okay. Handsome and rich in a world of poverty. So this means, so I use what Allah gave me. So I'm just making fun of him. I'll say I'm handsome and rich. And imagine to be able to say that when you're poor, when they done taken, they be knocking you over. They don't know how close you are to the bottom line, and it ain't none of their business. I know one thing. Just a vision what we're doing now. We're preparing now for the Eid. That's what we're preparing for. That's why there's no hurry. So if we don't have a certain amount of people, we will get a certain amount of people because we're going to be traveling around, hanging out at all the Masjid. You know, probably about, starting tomorrow, probably about 3 nights a week. You know, until then, even if it's 2, it's fine. And if you notice, our flyers are evolutionary. So we're going to make our flyers fit into where we're trying to go. Inshallah, they'll be good. They'll be just like the other old ones. They evolve. They get better as they go. So we will explain to people who we are, what we want to do. It'll be different than some of them. Post-traumatic growth. That's pretty serious. Okay. Anyway, I just saw an old note here. This is from 1983, September the 2nd. Run 10 miles. That's in the hills. I mean, with heavy weights and sweat gear on. You're talking about shape. You know, now all you got to do is think about that, and it puts you in some shape. Just thinking about it. I mean, you can walk around the block. That'll be enough after a while. Okay. The point is, we just thank Allah. Allah done blessed. Hey, man, I can't express it enough. You try to do right. Now imagine, I'm just talking about personally now. Everything that people talk about, Allah let you do it. Imagine. When the Negroes wanted to be rich, okay, you get richer than everybody. In fact, the people that you bring along with you, and it's like advertisement, really, right? So if all people talk about is Cadillacs in those days, right? When they go down the street, it's like advertisement. So if you buy your main friends Cadillacs, big Brohams, not them little old Coupe de Villes things, with Vogue tires, not them little old Michelins and stuff. Although Michelin's a better tire, but it don't look as good as the Vogues. You know, a Negro cares nothing about how good something is. You know, Vogue tires, if you didn't have them, you would be out of style. It's been no good the last 40,000 miles, man. The nigga wouldn't use them because they had a little thin stripe on it, not that big pretty white stripe with the little orange. Just being colored is a burden in some kind of way, but it's a blessing in others. Once you get to, but you got to look, once you go through the ringer, the white man's ringer and life in general, and you come out all right, hey man, the best thing is just to be a believer so you know who to thank. Yeah, if you come through it and you don't know who to thank, you may be thanking yourself, boy, I'm a job nigga, I'm smart, boy, look at him. I beat up here, I beat this, I beat that, and you fall off a bridge somewhere, and you'll never know that Allah brought you through that. So what's good about it is you know who to thank for going through all that. And then I want you to also remember 45 years of this stuff here, every day, all the time. Never no let up and never no rest. One stage after another. Your cars won't run. The plumbing goes there. All the time. Hey, man. See, that's the beauty about it. That's the beauty of longevity. And to come through with an attitude that's good and balanced and non-harmful is unbelievable. Okay, I'll move toward a close. It was necessary to do that because we're going to have to show people that that's possible, because nobody thinks that's possible. The Crips don't think it because if anything happened, they'll go kill all the Bloods. The Bloods don't believe it because they'll go kill all the Crips. The East Side don't think so because the West Side know better. And if anything happened to one of them, the white man, just look how mean the white man is. The white man got M&Ms, Mexican mafia, fighting La Familia. They're all from the same place, Mexico. Can you imagine? I bet their parents are from the same village, some of them. And they hate each other. They hate each other. And whether it's the Cali cartel and the Medellin cartel, all of them is Colombians. And somebody then rigged it so one is in the lead, then the other one challenged it, and that goes on. You just jump across the border to Mexico, and they got this cartel and that cartel, and it's a council. They cancel each other out, and boss man gets all his money back. Boss man gets all his money back, and they don't get nowhere. That's why when I get a chance to talk to any of them, this is what I'm going to say. You guys are all Mexicans. Well, I've said it before. The money y'all make, you can remodel Mexico. Just keep a few million apiece and spread it around. Highways, airports, farms, all of that. You can do it. Either do it or the boss man gonna get the money back. He don't need it. Or kill each other. Just pull out a thing and like Negroes. Do you know the amount of money that Negroes was making a few years ago in drugs was unbelievable. What's the name? 30 years ago was making $1 million a day. So was Freeway Rick. $1 million a day. Un millón. Cada día, todos los días. Every day. And he wind up broke. The American gangster, our story is exactly the same, except I went to South America, right, and got cocaine and brought it back here. And he went to Vietnam. We all knew it because they brought it into Treasure Island. They didn't bring it directly into New York. Sometime it got directed, but they would They landed them boats coming. I mean, them planes coming from Southeast Asia. They landed in Treasure Island, San Francisco first. And everybody knew they was in bodies, in body bags. In those days, it was just a known thing. Look at the money those people were making. I'll admit it. I never. But it was a different time. It was a different time. So 10,000 a day, it's okay. It don't get you no history book or nothing, but it was sufficient for that time. Because after all, a house didn't cost $15,000 at that time. So if you made $10,000 a day, take home, you could buy 4 houses a week and still have spending money. Right? 3, 4 bedroom houses per week. Yeah. Okay. That was a time when money was so big in drugs. But I gave lectures on it. I'll close when I finish this. It's a closed-in system. The drugs, the bail, the lawyers, the confiscation, Negroes was left with nothing. Nothing. And they wouldn't listen either. Because when you get in a little bit of money, and when I say a little bit, to them, $1 million a day is a lot of money. But when they passed this little old coronavirus, whatever it was, Bezos and them was making that. They was going to give all their employees, I don't know how many. Huh?
Well, I think it was, I remember reading that the money Jeff Bezos made basically post-COVID, he made enough so much that if he gave all of his employees $40,000, he would still have as much money
as he did before the thing started.
Yeah.
If he gave all his employees 40 grand cash, he'd have more money than he had. And that was almost a year. That was a year ago, right? Yeah. So he didn't have but 1 year of getting that money, not 2 years, like now. That's why I say, now Pablo Escobar and them made a lot of money. Because the Colombian government was going to pass a law that they could extradition. Pablo Escobar's crew told him, if you cancel that and don't let the government come down here and take nobody, we'll pay off your national debt. The national debt in that time, that's a good about 30 years ago, it was $400 and something million. And they was the gangsters was going to pay that off for the government, that you just be free and clear. You won't have to listen to the people no more telling you what you got to do. Hey, man. But about money, I can say this. With whatever type of money or amounts that I had, I never felt anywhere 1/20th, 1/50th, I don't even know. I never felt nowhere as close to the way I feel now all the time. I wouldn't feel anywhere close to like this 1 or 2 days out of the year. Yeah, 1 or 2 days out of the year. Because you could remember those nice days because you don't have hardly none of them. You can remember. I can remember 1970. 2 days. 2 days. I mean, what we have now, where life is, because you have you always got something that's popping up. You know what I mean? Somebody trying to take your money, the white man doing this, right? You know what I mean? And that's why those people let you read about, we read about them and that, whatever that make people, they don't have, we know how bad they have it, but they don't have, if anybody knew or believed that life was like what we're telling them, I know they wouldn't jump on the wagon, but they should. All I can say is I didn't had everything them people had. I mean, plenty of it when I was young, when it meant something. You know, not a zillion dollars, but I didn't had plenty. I had enough to give everybody else some and not be mad when they didn't give me none of it back or didn't help when I was going. I wasn't mad at them because they just, felt sorry for everybody else. I said, the other brothers, they didn't know that the Negro don't care nothing about them. So all the black people, including Sekou and them, they was over there stuck. I think they got unstuck when I might have passed out a little something over there. And Dr. John Branyan was telling me, you shouldn't give them that. I said, I'll get some more. I don't need to. What if I can't run around just holding on, what it is, you stick your hand in that thing and since you don't let go, you can't, get it out. Right? I say, just let it go, man. That's to now. And I will close with this. Imagine now everything in the United States government, the FBI, the CIA, anybody have been standing in line to try to punish us and it don't have no effect. And everybody know they standing in line doing it. It don't have no effect. That's a miracle. Because people, if you just knock on the door and it's the FBI, my God, I didn't do it. Lord, please help me. They get to praying right away. They never prayed 15 years. Now they praying because the FBI, right? People are afraid of them bums. They are bums and they're technically stupid because when you got everything in your hands and you still making all them bumbling mistakes, then you something missing, right? If I made a mistake, I don't have all of that. But if I had everything in my hands and I'm still losing any fight I get in, I lose it. And I've been training all day. I got the best trainers, right? Eating all kind of energy soup and anything. And I can't whoop nobody. I can't outrun nobody. I can't do, right? That's the way boss man is. The key is that at a time in history when Allah pulled the string and that's it. They can't do they could do anything they wanted in the century before last and even part of the last century because it was their time. It don't matter what they did. They kill all the Indians, lynch and burn niggas. It make no difference. They still on the up. The USA, the freedom, right? All that. You want freedom? Go there. Land of the free, the home of the brave. That's what they was calling this boy. I'm telling you, land of the free, home of the brave. Good God Almighty. Hey, man. And when Allah changed the direction, I don't care what they do. They can't fix it. Because their time is up. But your and my time is not up. The things that are happening in the world, the fish didn't do nothing to get done like this. The hadith say the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, they making dua for us. Hey man, I hope you guys pull it off because they're doing something here, man. I'm eating and I'm dying, but I feel full. Poor little fish eating plastic, you know what I mean? And they feel full. I'm full today, man. I got my eyes, my vision. I can't see no more. So something's going on. That fish, those fish, are making dua for us. It goes in fish language. They can't speak English. Only elephants speak French at the bottom of the sea. This is only, yeah. Anybody ever heard that? This is a big lie. This is a big lie, but I mean, I don't know where I heard it. Oh, Little Big Man. Dustin Hoffman. Remember, it was a guy that had a wagon going around selling stuff, and he said you could tell people anything, and that's one of the things. Elephants speak French at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, but anyway, are there any questions, any comments, dear believers? Uh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, one of the brothers did say, may Allah protect you, brothers. Or I guess, well, that's one of the sentiments I picked up is that, I guess sometimes, because like say we were at PGMA last Friday, and you can clearly see the police cruiser in the background and stuff.
Right.
The Muslims see that and they get nervous. You always see them on the train, Allah protects you.
Right.
May Allah aid you, brothers. It makes
Right.
them anxious. It's been a common thread I've seen on.
Right.
The believers are praying for us.
No, hey, man, that's why you think we're still running around. It ain't nothing new. Look, it's going to get better than that because, see, the things that's happened and already, this is without people knowing all this stuff that's happened. That's why we're putting all this stuff out. Some of the people, they already know. And when we out there talking about Zionism and stuff like that, and last week, the other day, it was a little chilly. So, like when you get older, you realize that, hey, but I stuck. I said, this is good training. That's what I'm supposed to be here for. I can't be go running. Please let me in the car. I want to get warm, right? So, but that's training. So now if I can stay out an hour, next time I'll be able to stay out there in the middle of the cold, an hour and 10 minutes. Pretty soon, an hour and a half, right? With less clothes on, because you get acclimatized. But I can see, look, everybody else thinks this is a great job. You're brave. One of the sheikhs, the Shia sheikhs, when there's a program over there, I tell you where he's at. You know that big, beautiful masjid in Detroit, in the Shia neighborhood? It looked like they brought it over from Baghdad somewhere. The sheikh there, I won't tell you his name, but you know his name. I saw him down at the convention center. He was walking with one of the brothers. The brother was a snitch from L.A., and I knew he was a snitch. Of course, I can't stop and say, that's a snitch there, But not everybody. Everybody's not a snitch. Let's clear that. Everybody, like 100% of the people, it's just high 90s, Anyway, he said, Imam Musa, the bravest man in America. And I was just saying to myself, they think it's brave because they scared to death. It ain't brave. It's normal. This is our job. This is our job. It's like if we didn't do this, I couldn't rest. I can rest now because I done did my little 2 minutes. Shoot, I'm going to take off all afternoon after I go get some, what's the name? I'm going to be off today, boy. I'm going to just kick back and I may watch a movie. I do what I feel like today, but I get busy tomorrow because, you earn a little time off. The point is this. Hey, man, like the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, make dua. Remember, there's nothing between the petition. There's no petition between Allah and the dua of the oppressed. Okay, people don't believe that. I don't care whether they believe it. It don't. That's what's different. Hey, y'all, you don't believe it? That's your business. That's your problem. I do, right? We do. That's it. Yeah, but I no, it ain't no yeah, but. The last thing I'd like to say is maybe the brothers haven't had enough life experience. Maybe they thought if their wife would have had maybe a little lighter skin and a little stringier hair, they would have been happier. They did. Or maybe if, some dumb stuff would have been happening, they would be happy. That's not necessarily true. All I can say is I had a chance to have all those things and have them at a nice age, and when it wasn't, and I got out of the game before it got really dangerous. We ran stuff so smooth in Oakland that it wasn't no big death rate. In fact, that's why the Vice Squad liked to keep me in, because they could eat donuts. They knew how I was. The death rate is down. They could eat donuts and drink coffee. They didn't have to do nothing. It was a dumb, they call them, like here, they call them the jump out squad. They maybe wear some pants and a bulletproof vest. They're not, that's, then we used to call them crime prevention in Oakland. Young, dumb white boys that just, the Vice hated them because the Vice knew how to run things their way. If you just let us, but they couldn't get that past no police authorities because the Vice Squad, one of the guys was red, freckle-faced, and it was 3 or 4 prostitutes had children that was had freckles on. So everybody knew but everything worked, without, what I mean, trauma. So this is the big guy. Big guy, we're gonna bring you down. So when I left, the income Felix Mitchell them and the death rate go from 0 to I don't know, 50 or 60 a year, beating up people's mama and stuff like that. Because the other criminal Vice Squad, I'm gonna just tell you this, and that one time, one of the brothers with me, before I bought him a new Cadillac himself, he was driving one of my older Cadillacs. It was a bad boy, it was white with a gangster window, them little windows in the back. It done nothing to anybody else, but for us, the nigga got a gangster window. That is, you have to get them special from the convertible place, and nobody knew where to buy them except a couple. In fact, there was only 2 with a gangster window. And so, that make you feel like you're hiding and everything. Anyway, so on 73rd and Bancroft, he wrecked one of my cars. So technically, the Vice was chasing him. So when somebody called me, there was a phone booth there, they called me and I came down. When I got there, the Vice was there, the whole Vice Squad. And then my whole crew, which were all ex or close to Black Panthers, everybody got on black and they leaning forward like they pistols, so that when I get there and pull up, I drove through everything, pulled up. So Romero was head of the Vice at that head of that crew. So I said, hey, what's going on? So, said, oh, you're going to have to get a new driver, And so when I would walk back to my crew, they would be saying, we can take these guys. And I'm telling them with a big smile, we're not here to fight with the police or to have a shootout. This is insanity. You know what I'm saying? Had a big smile. So stand down. Y'all stand down. Relax. We're not here. The Negroes shoot it out with the police. The police, I told them later, I said, if you have a shootout, idiot, 5 of y'all get killed, and maybe 6 of them get killed since it was more, and y'all practice a little bit, probably more than they do as much. So it's bad numbers. I said, plus after you didn't kill all them police, what, you gonna just deal all the dope you want? You ain't gonna deal no more dope. I said, that's what we do. We make money. We don't shoot at the police. And they could pick up on that, and so after that, I didn't have no more trouble with the vice. The ones that's their job to stop us. It was with them dumb white boys that read magazines about crime. They call them crime prevention. The vice said, let the nigga he keeps the death rate down because he don't want niggas killing each other. So we don't have to leave the office. We could donuts. It's coffee and donuts all day. We can ride around, right? That's what they want to do. You think they want to go out shooting at people and getting shot at? No. So the reason we got so much money, we made sure everybody get money, and it's peace and freedom. You don't have to shoot nobody. I'd solve all the problems. Nigga owe me some money. How much money he owe you? How did it happen? I tell you what. Well, 5,000 solved the problem. 5,000 cash money. Yeah, this solved the problem. Shoot, yeah, man, it definitely solved the problem. I said, well, here you go. Here's 3 cash money. Well, that solved the problem. That's a long time ago. That's a lot of money. Yeah, that solved the problem. Well, y'all shake hands. In fact, niggas ought to hug each other. Y'all ought to hug it. For all this money I'm spending, you know what I mean? And I don't want to hear none of that. That's the way we ran Oakland. During those parts of the 60s and early, it was East Oakland Enterprises, for black people. You don't kill each other. That's from being in jail a lot, where the crew you could really trust is black people, because there's whites, Mexicans, and blacks in the joint. So when there's a riot, you don't have to worry. Everybody's gonna look and see, where's my people going, and they're gonna be blocked up, with their crew, safety and numbers. So anyway. So it was a crime prevention, and the feds wanted to get rid of us. It wasn't a device squad in Oakland. The ones that know you, hey man, what's going on? They stop by to see, hey man, it wasn't no shenanigans like you pay off, you do any snitching. It's just that they know, hey man, this nigga with all them niggas, they don't want to have shoot. And I think when that's all they want to have is a shootout. And you saying, who needs to shoot it out with the police? It's insanity. Well, some of the police need it, but not the vice squad. The vice squad is they crooked as you are. In fact, you're better you're more honest than they are. You know what I mean? They got babies everybody know it. This prostitute is a pretty lady, got freckles, and this vice squad guy got 3 kids, but she got 3 kids, and everybody know, they red looking, he's red, it's just, yeah. And it ain't no big deal. Okay, that kind of police department you can get along with. That's why, and I'll close with this, the people didn't understand why I didn't mind, I almost liked the police department here in D.C. when I got here. Do you remember that they used to have a Black Patrolmen's Association or something? You'd hear them on WPFW. And they talk, do you remember how they used to talk? Good God. And then I run over there, and when I wanted the police, man, the trails I would be running right over there. They'd be back in there. They'd been out partying all week. I'm telling you, I saw the police. One was in the front seat with his feet hanging out that window. One was in the back street, back just laid up. And I just run right by him on the trail. I could have shot him or did anything. And then the other shady spot, they'd hide. See, everywhere I run, that's where I see the police. And I said, man, this is wonderful, because in L.A., you feel, like the helicopters and all that, you feel oppressed. And if you make one false move, you're a dead man. That's their reputation. But D.C., I said, man, these are the nicest police I've ever seen. All they want to do is be left alone, right? And then some of the people, they had a murder case and they shoot. The black people said, I'm not convicting no more black kids to send a black kid to prison. That was, you was here then. The jury said, we're just not going to do it. That was the attitude then. And then to prove it, when Marion Barry, he went to the penitentiary, he got caught having sex in the visiting room, and he was working at the powerhouse, and he came out of the penitentiary after the lady snitched on him and got a job right back, the same job he had as the mayor. And he told the white folks, y'all got to get over that. But that's the way our people would see. So you could see, and I would tell Christopher, that was his son, hey, man, he was a Muslim. I say, hey, man, you tell your daddy anytime he come by here, he got it. He could, because Christopher, when I came, he was only about 10 years old. Yeah. But tell your daddy, he can come by here and he can have the show. I mean, we don't believe in politics, but he wasn't considered he was a uncle, like if you got an uncle, all black people got an uncle that is just, white folks call them knaves and all kind of old names, but black people, that's their uncle, you know what I mean? And everybody in their family got one of them, right? Everybody got one of them guys. And he reminds us of a family member. And his rule, hey man, whatever department you work in, if you work in the ticket department, you can tear up all the tickets you want. And if you work when I got here and I needed stickers for cars, they was $35, remember that? You could get anything you wanted. DC was just right. I mean, hey man, you didn't have to break the law. The law was already broke, right? And all you had to do was pay. You want your car, your car smoking, you just go down there, hey man, right? What's the thing for the day? Man, it's going. Temporary tags, all that. Hey man, that's gonna be. I got my kids need shoes. It's gonna be $50, but $50. How about 30, man? 35, nigga, I gotta eat, man. I can't just be doing this. You know what I mean? My job, your job. What are you? Who gonna put you? Who gonna catch you? All them niggas there, they all doing the same thing you doing. It ain't one honest. Tell the truth. When you went through that, it was not one honest guy anywhere in the bureaucracy, but that's fine. That's fine. Then, it's just $35 for this, $50 for that. You could pay that more than that in tickets. You know what I mean? You card anyway. So anyway, when I got here, I liked DC. I liked it. It reminded me of a place you could really, And then some of the police knew that the system. Well, first of all, they gonna get already. It was still a mixture of black and white as police, and the structure was so that they knew what was going on. But anyway, are there any more questions or comments? The who?
He called them Zion Nazis.
Well, the Zionists is practicing 100% Nazism. They always cry about the Nazis, but their program is 100%. They are more Nazis than the Nazis were. Yeah, no, their policies is 100% Nazism. Okay, that was it?